Hey everyone, welcome to the Sound Test Podcast. Um, this is Brian here, your host. I'm joined by Clayton.
始しました。私はクリエイターのフォードです。
Fucking
始めま
weeb.
しょう。
Oh my god.
I hope I like legit. I looked at the stats of the podcast. There's like one person faithfully like downloading our stuff in Japan, so that's for them. I hope they understood that
Keep going, keep
Oh.
going, keep
because
going.
I don't know who that is. I don't.
Aw.
Hey, to our one Japanese fan. Hey.
Right, thank you.
あり
Konnichiwa.
がとう。あり
That
が
one
とうござ
Japanese
いま
fan, I
す。
need you to go to like multiple computers and log into all of them and then just download our podcast repeatedly on different devices.
始めましょう。
I don't know what you're saying, Clayton. So I hope
I
it's not
said let's
offensive.
No, no, it's not. I just said let's start it.
Bro, like sometimes when people speak Spanish and I just hear them and I don't know what they're saying, just because of my work environment, I'm like, I hope whatever they're saying is not offensive, because I wouldn't know.
Oh my god.
Bro, they could be talking shit about you in your face. You'd be like, yeah.
Right?
Hey,
we have no idea. I'm joined by Maximilian.
Your boy.
Joined by oh, and also just putting out there, Maximilian's favorite hero is Spider-Man.
Your favorite
So much.
hero? Your favorite hero. I thought Squiddy was tripping because he's high, but no, you actually fucking said hero.
That was intentional at time. and
Oh my
Squiddy,
Ridiculous.
are you there? Because I sound like he's dying. Deontay, are you there?
Are you here physically or it's spirit? Because you sound like on another plane.
It's more of an ethereal thing. So take your pick.
I'll choose the latter.
Okay, so yeah, the topic of this week's discussion is how does Sony move forward. So obviously there was a huge acquisition a few weeks ago with Activision Blizzard being acquired by Microsoft to further bolster the Xbox brand. And Xbox is not shy of acquisitions. They've been acquiring a lot of studios. The other biggest acquisition was Bethesda back in, I think it was 2020 or 2021. And that, I believe it was 2020. And that was absolutely massive. And so as we're moving into this, new console generation, some people are asking how is Sony going to respond to kind of like it's a very different game plan that Microsoft is doing, but how do they compete with Microsoft essentially having at this point 33 development studios and just this massive like arm of constant game releases and the Game Pass services itself. So, that's going to be the main function of our discussion today. So my first question, just an open question to you all. How do you feel about the acquisitions dealing with Bethesda and Activision Blizzard on Microsoft's side, and how do you think this is going to affect Sony's strategy going forward?
I
Go
think
for it.
it's more so that Xbox, they kind of want to feel like they can stand on their own a lot more confidently this console generation, considering how much money they've already invested in these other studios. And I think it looks pretty bright for them as far as when they will get to these hit exclusives and all these first party titles and like acquiring these studios, there's potential for other first party titles to like come about and only be on Xbox, which would give them a leg up, versus where Sony has their like one or two or three like God of War, Last of Us, and Horizon, and
Right.
it would just sit on those. What and like for a while. I mean, because even in the PS3 generation, it was God of War and Last of Us and Uncharted. Those were your big PS3 games that kind of rolled it,
Well, I
and then
mean,
Persona 5 like at the tail end, kind of sort of.
well, also don't for modern PlayStation, don't count out the juggernaut that is Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's facts.
Yeah, I guess. Yes.
I mean, PlayStation has some good exclusives. PlayStation really does have some good exclusives, but since Microsoft over here is trying to be like the Disney of gaming,
Legit.
they right, they got to do something to compete. They got to do something to compete, which is something obviously we're about to get into.
I think I would say that this is a healthy thing they're doing for the gaming community world, I guess, whatever you want to call it, the market, because a lot of the time, it, maybe this is probably me just talking on my ass, but I'm pretty sure more people would like to see Xbox RPGs or JRPGs come back again when they were experimenting, and with them acquiring all these different studios, maybe possibly something can come about of like a new niche for Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Versus Sony, they kind of do a little bit of everything, and so does Nintendo. Xbox is more so centered to that multiplayer faceted community of gamers, not necessarily something that could be used for a huge marketing deal.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my thought on it. It's a good thing. So that way, everybody there'll be a reason to play in each fucking little facet, like Nintendo, Sony, or Microsoft. It didn't really feel like that because a lot of them that times people don't even count Nintendo in that party because of how
Mhm.
niche they are.
Mhm.
Nintendo's hard carried by their exclusives because
Mhm.
Most
the
definitely.
power of the power of the console itself is not nothing compared to the other to its contenders.
Yeah, I think this is Sony trying to find its way back into the gaming market, even though I'm pretty sure they're. I know it's not a major factor as to why they did this, but a good portion of the factor is they're getting a lot of flack for their PS5 release and PS5 exclusives and stuff like that. So I'm guessing they're trying to keep their customers or the people who are truly invested in Sony product like PlayStation involved because like what didn't Bethesda produce Fallout New
Dude,
Vegas?
you're confused, Clayton.
Hmm.
Microsoft acquired Bethesda, not Sony.
Oh my god. Oh shit. Let me oh I just back in my
Okay,
notes.
who's
Oh my
tripping?
god.
Who's tripping
Oh,
today? I
oh,
thought it
my
was Deontay, but it sounds like it's you.
it's most definitely me because I wrote down notes and then I just look back at them. I'm like, what the hell am I talking about?
Again,
Man studied for the damn the
for the
man did
test.
his study guide for his history test. Whole time the math test coming up.
No cap. Because it kind of feels like you get every question wrong because you started off answering the wrong question.
Lord,
well,
That sounds so sad.
well, let me transition to this then. Um, Project Spartacus. This is kind of Sony's answer to Game Pass, and so
right? PlayStation Game Pass.
so uh, the Microsoft approach to content is completely different from Sony's, and in the fact that like Deontay was saying, Sony has these big tentpole releases. Like you may get an Uncharted generation, a console generation, but boy, is it going to be good. You may
Bet your sweet ass is going to be good every fucking time.
you may get one or two God of Wars every 7 years, but boy, they're going to be bangers. you know, and kind of Sony's really built out this niche of third party action games like Uncharted, Last of Us, God of War, Horizon, Ghost of Tsushima. Like, I guess you could put Days Gone in that. They really put up this nice little niche, and then they have stuff like Astrobot, Gran Turismo, Ratchet and Clank as well, Spider Man. That's could be considered a third person action as well. But those games take time, a lot of time to develop, a lot of time to produce, and for this last console generation, what was really holding Sony together in terms of sales was how bad Microsoft was doing, plus all these like exclusives through Japanese games and things like that. But with Microsoft kind of like really ramping up what they can produce and how successful Game Pass has been, like the last figure for Game Pass was 25 million people signed up for Game Pass, which is insane number. Now, obviously, people like me, I bought Game Pass in bulk, but even if it's just like, let's just say 20 million people paying $15 a month for Game Pass, that's a huge revenue of potential customers and people buying into that product. Um, so with PlayStation Project Spartacus, and I want y'all opinion on this, but apparently it's going to have 3 different tiers, um, and each tier is going to offer something different in terms of what you're paying for that tier, and obviously we don't know a lot about it since it's still in the rumor phase and it's not been officially announced. But rumor said that, and based off of trademarks as well, that it could be putting a lot of PS1, 2, and 3 games on the service for you to download and access and play. Um, and it seems like it would replace what is it, PS Now? Is it?
Mhm.
Yeah, it could potentially replace PS Now as that kind of streaming service or game downloading service.
All right, give me PS1 games and you'll have me.
And we'll have you what?
I said, give me PS1 games and you'll have my.
Like, how does it cut off again at the exact spot?
Oh my God! Hello,
He's like, give me PS2, PS1 games, and I was like, you
He's
what?
like, well, I guess
Give
we'll
me
never know now,
PS1
huh?
games and I'll give you my money forever.
Okay, there
Damn
we
it.
go.
Fuck.
Why are you getting mad at us?
No, I'm not. I'm getting mad.
It's technology, bro.
I'm with Max. I'm sorry, I have cookies and I'm enjoying them quite much. Yeah, give me PS1 games. And I just say you'll have a yearly or annually paying customer because people like me and many other people that have actually had a PS1 in this podcast.
Wow.
Who didn't have one?
Okay, me. God damn.
Right.
Oh, I guess you were broke. Okay, move on.
Shit.
Sir.
I'm kidding. I'm
Oh my God.
kidding.
We eat up nostalgia for those PS1 games like crack. Like those games are awesome.
Those games
The
are
problem,
awesome. Also,
Mhm.
also crazy hard.
crazy
PlayStation,
hard.
they didn't know how to make easy games during the PlayStation 1 era. Them just were hard.
Right. And the problem is that like the only way that we've recently been able to actually play a lot of the PS1 games that are relatively well known was between the PlayStation Classic, which basically had the European ROMs on the thing and it didn't run correctly and it
Oh
was kind of
yeah. I still don't know how you
or
messed that up.
or the few scattered here and there PS2 classic games that you download to play on PSN Store or the shit that's offered in PlayStation now from time to time, or when the PS3 era when you actually had to buy games too. So if you just give me a service where a bunch of them like well known and not well known, and like you get like specific tiers or whatever for that, and I play all my PS1 games that I would like to have that they have on the database or whatever. They decide to do like what Nintendo does, and they update theirs like by month, and they add like one or two games. You got my money. I think that would be dope.
I too feel the same because the PlayStation was the very first console I started playing on.
Even if they start like even though that might go a little too far, but I don't know how that would work if they like made promotional controllers that look like the first Dual Shock.
Oh, boy, you talking about the one without
Ooh,
the analog sticks?
No, the first Dual Shock.
Didn't they do
Okay,
that with?
Oh,
Wasn't there a
analog.
PS4 controller like that?
there was. Yes, there was. There most
Yeah, I think
definitely was.
yeah.
I always wanted that controller.
It looked great. It looked fine.
And
Um,
they
my,
were great.
there we go.
so for me, in particular, since people want to call me out, I would like that service to experience PS1, PS2, and PS3 games because my first Sony console was the PS4. Um, so that there's a whole you know collection of stuff that I was just never exposed to, and just never had the opportunity to play. Um, so it'll be kind of like Nintendo Switch Online, but actually good to actually have a modern way to play those old games, and really dig into that nostalgia of that. But also one of the biggest gets to Game Pass is that hey, you're getting all of Microsoft's first party stuff day one on the service, and I think that's the killer app with that because it's like Game Pass before like they started doing that was already a okay deal, but when they guaranteed, hey, you're gonna get the newest Gears day one on this, and you don't have to pay for it. You don't have to pay extra for it.
Like you're basically free brand new game.
Essentially, like you're in large scheme of things, paying $15 a month is nothing when you're getting top tier first party releases as soon as they come out. So that'll be the question: is Sony going to do that? Are they going to actually like, hey, the newest God of War is right here on Project Spartacus? I don't see that happening.
Right.
Hell, it took Sony years just to put those games onto PC.
Mm, the only way I could see them doing that is if they just so happen to make it, unless they get real big headed and they just make Spartacus a little bit more expensive than Game Pass. But people are gonna really, really, really want, the new God of War, the new Horizon 3 straight from Spartacus.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, but
I don't know how they would do that, or if there would be like that massive backlash that Xbox got when they tried to raise their
Oh yeah.
Xbox Live.
Yeah, boy, everybody shut that shit down. Like, there was
Yeah.
like, hell nah.
So imagine Sony getting that kind of backlash to when they announce a brand new, service like that supposed to generate them a lot of revenue, and it doesn't because people didn't like the initial the initial pricing.
Right.
yeah, but even if they start off this Project Spartacus like more expensive than the Game Pass, you only have like what one, two games that are really gonna like drive people forward to that. Like that are new. Obviously old PS1 titles and stuff like that will bring the community back to that. But people are gonna look at they're just gonna compare the two services like all together. They really are. And as Microsoft is growing, PlayStation, yeah, you have this game streaming service. What else you got? Microsoft is like essentially monopolizing the gaming community at this point with that big power move.
You can customize your keyboard in the
Well, they're getting there.
Well,
They're getting there.
I'll say this. There's Sony has some really big niches that Microsoft cannot fulfill. And that's the biggest thing of that is the Japanese market. Xbox historically, and probably still to this day, does terrible in Japanese markets to the point where there's games that released exclusively on PS5 and PS4 that are not even like marketing deals. They're not even like exclusivity deals. They're just like the publisher's like, look, we're not going to publish this on Xbox because Japanese players don't play on Xbox. So we're just going to completely skip the Xbox and put this junk on, Sony and Nintendo platforms. Uh, and that's like one thing in particular that Sony has always had is a market on JRPGs, Japanese action games like from like Platinum and stuff. Um, they typically get a lot of the marketing deals for uh, from software games like Bloodborne and the
Mm.
Demon Souls remastered. So that's a market that Sony's very well established in. Now they ain't got no Western RPGs because Microsoft kind of took them all,
Yeah.
or first person shooters, which kind of Microsoft kind of took them all. Um, well, speaking of first person shooters, let's look at the big news that happened recently with who is Tokyo drifting out somebody's house?
That's niggas in the neighborhood. It's bro.
See, for a moment, I
It's
thought it
niggas
was
in the neighborhood. And it's niggas racing chargers outside. You already know how it is.
That's that
Hmm.
Georgia for you.
Mhm.
Um, what am I about to say? Oh yeah, so God, um, yeah, Sony bought Bungie.
That's where my notes got mixed up. That's where my notes got mixed
See,
up.
you studied for the wrong test, champ.
Bro.
Yeah,
Ah!
Sony freaking bought Bungie.
You
Arguably,
know, when I first heard of that, when I first heard about that, I was like, Halo. I forgot that Halo's not Halo doesn't belong to Bungie anymore. So it's like I was like,
Right. It's gone like an angel's kiss.
bruh.
so yeah, Bungie, arguably the biggest first-person developer from the early 2000s, um, producing Halo 1, 2, 3, Halo 3 ODST, and Halo Reach. Um, and like really establishing what a console shooter can look and feel like. And then from then, first person shooters kind of blew up on consoles. And so the fact that Bungie went from almost being acquired by Apple to being acquired by Microsoft, then leaving Microsoft, then having a publishing deal with Activision, then leaving that, and now on their own, and then being acquired again by PlayStation. Um, so with the Destiny series, I'm not into it. None of y'all are really into it.
I was once upon a time. I was addicted. I'm not into it anymore because they were asking for too much goddamn money. But once upon a time, I was.
um, One of our friends is really into Destiny, um, Chloe, but
She was. Again, she was like she's like me. She was.
oh, she was okay.
Yeah. Then they started asking for too much money.
Um, but it's not my cup of tea. We tried. A few of us tried it when it was like right before it went free to play, and it was like $7 brand new.
No, that shit was fire.
Oh, it was that cheap?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was stupid cheap from Best Buy, and we was like, all right, why not? And we all got it. We played it for that like one night, and we was just like, all right, and never came back.
It's like, all right, that's Destiny to everybody. You pleased?
So I can say it's definitely not for me, but it's still massively popular. Destiny 2 is massively popular as a live service games. Um, there's constant updates, expansion packs. Heck, they even take away content out of stuff and reintroduce it later. Um, so Destiny's a big deal. It really is. And to show how much of a big deal it was, uh, and since Bungie went independent, that's truly their only like new franchise was Destiny. And even with that, and this is the weirdest part of the deal, is that they're able to, even though they're being acquired by Sony, they're still able to make multi-platform games.
So that means we'll get more IPs out of them other than just Destiny. Destiny was
What do you
just
mean? We're getting Destiny 3. What are you talking about? Destiny 3.
You're gonna get Destiny 3 and you're gonna like it.
what? No, give me like I don't know, Blinks the time sweeping cat, but
That's a
as
Microsoft
a live,
property.
but as a as a live service game.
But you
I
can't
don't
touch
know.
that. It's Microsoft, baby.
Or do like if they do another Destiny, like have it be like Destiny 1, but updated graphic or something like that. For those who are like OG and they really, really dig the game, its initial start. I don't know, but I really don't know what to expect out of Bungie
Well,
because everybody only knows them for Halo and
True.
Destiny.
Halo and Destiny.
apparently they have another property they're working on, or IP.
I wonder if it's gonna be like a different genre of game.
If it's
Because
a
I mean,
different
Yeah.
genre,
Once upon a time, Bungie did have like strategy RPGs. Like they had other games besides first-person shooters
uh,
with Myth and fucking what's that other one?
Marathon.
Can't even. Yeah,
Well, like it's it's kind of funny because like after this happened, it seems Sony's plan isn't to have Bungie be exclusive to them. Instead, they're utilizing that the Destiny IP to bolster other things. So, like for instance, Bungie wants to expand Destiny into TV and films, and who better else to do that than with Sony, who has this massive movie arm who's constantly producing movies and funding movies. So,
mhm.
why not?
I
You
mean,
know,
I
yeah,
think that I think it's a good move for Bungie. And I think we're gonna see potentially see some big stuff from Bungie in the future. That's what I'm really hoping.
I'm just hoping to see different stuff from Bungie. I don't want to
it's-
see another space shooter. I don't care if it's third or first person. No more space shooters. Bungie, give me something totally off the beaten path from you.
Right.
I don't care if it's like an underwater card fight game or something.
I,
Like
but
it's like something different.
but the question is, what would be your ideal like genre from Bungie after the deal?
To be
Um,
honest, I don't think I care. I just want to see a quality.
I don't. It's hard because it's like, as I said, Destiny wasn't for me, but Destiny felt so good. Like
It does.
like the actual shooting mechanics in the game feels so good. The gunplay in it feels so good. I like I like the look of the world. I like the design of their stuff. You know,
yeah.
it's a reason why Halo 1 was so iconic. They have a really good sense of design. Um, and like I don't know how I would feel with Bungie doing like a, I don't know, gritty western or a
Or
sci.
things are too realistic.
Ooh,
All I know is the story's gonna be good. Bungie's really good at storytelling. Like
yes.
if you take the extra effort to actually look up the lore and the world building, they're really good. Bungie's amazing at doing that.
I assume it's the same with Halo.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they put a lot towards the Halo lore because like if you look at Halo as a multimedia property, there's the comics, there's the books, of course there's the games, there's the TV show that's coming out now. Uh, they and then there's side games like Halo Wars and stuff like that. They really expanded so much to it for just a simple just you run here, you shoot stuff, you shoot aliens, and move on. They really expanded that concept to be much, much bigger.
And that's the thing; they don't shove it in your face. Like if you want to just be shooty, shooty, kill, kill, you can do that. But if you want to get into the lore and all of that, you can. You just have to put a little bit more extra effort to do so. But it's really interesting when you do.
Mm. Oh shit.
But
Other than like blasting you with like some games do, they like blast like lore bits in your face when like a fucking lecture. 2,000 years ago, the blah 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 fought the
but
god. I don't care.
that reminded me of Outriders. That
Is that how
I
they
don't
get
like I don't
during
like an exposition
dialogue?
blast like at all.
You rather have your world built and just have the lore expose itself in that manner, I'm guessing. Like,
Say again.
I guess, like, because one thing, because honestly, I've only know of Bungie with Halo, like everybody else, and Destiny, like everybody else. And so, one thing I noticed about their games after playing both, I briefly played Destiny. I was like, again, like Brian, not my cup of tea, but it did feel really amazing with their world building and like the universe that these people and characters and everything else where they are in, it is just set up so beautifully. Like, because I've
Oh,
never been the person that will get into a first person shooter, and then my first person shooter was Halo 2, and then I moved to Halo Reach, and I was like, wait a minute, I actually am enjoying myself, but why? I'm terrible at first person shooters. So credits to you, Bungie, for getting this Tetris fiend in a different direction.
oh my god.
I mean, it would
And
be
I gotta give it. Go
no,
ahead, Brian.
I was saying it would be legitimately cool if Bungie could dip their toe into something different, like you said, other than the space shooter, and see what else creatively they can do. Because my first thought was Cyberpunk. A Cyberpunk game from Bungie would be dope as shit.
Cyberpunk 2078.
Nope, nope.
Cyberpunk, but good this time. Like,
The
bruh,
game supposed to come.
In that launch, wasn't that launch like extremely terrible?
It
Oh
was
yeah.
awful.
the game, I mean, it pulled a, uh, fucking No Man's Sky, and got better after the fact, but still, but people didn't give it the chance that they gave No Man's Sky.
Well, No Man's
The game
Sky,
just
it's
died.
No Man's Sky wasn't broken at launch though.
It was boring.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was
just
just
boring.
boring
Yeah.
and didn't. It wasn't what people thought it was going to be.
Not to mention the amount of false promises that Cyberpunk uh offered. Like the advertisement, it was so overhyped because they gave so many false promises.
And like the next gen versions of it, the PS5 and Xbox Series X versions of that game still don't exist. They're still working on them, and the game
Damn.
came out in 2020.
It's not happening, champ. It's just not.
So then imagine if Bungie does make one where it's like, hey, ours works day one. Everything we said was gonna be in the game is in the game. And yeah, it's only $40.
Okay, come on now.
Oh, yeah, I wish. I think we all wish.
But um, so the other, angle to this whole deal, and a few articles and a few video game industry pundits talked about this, and was the other huge thing about the acquisition is Bungie's knowledge and infrastructure for live service games. And that's partly because when we look at Sony traditionally in the last, let's just say the last two console generations, Sony hasn't been a big player in the multiplayer space. You know, they relied on other people like your 2K, your Maddens, your Call of Duty to pick up the multiplayer space, your FIFAs to really pick up the multiplayer genre. But Sony as a first party hasn't really focused on multiplayer gaming since like what? I'm assuming the Killzone games were had multiplayer components.
I've never. I don't
Oh,
know.
I think Shadowfall and like maybe Killzone 2 maybe had like a little bit of online or something on it.
Um, but they're most of their games last few years have just been core single player titles. They haven't had any like true big forces of multiplayer like what we had freaking what was that game that came out last year? close to the launch of PlayStation 5. That was the Destruction All Star.
Oh, man, yeah, that shit.
Yeah, that was
Damn, I forgot about. I legitimately forgot about it.
everybody did. That was gonna be Sony. That was gonna be the PS5's breakthrough multiplayer hit, boy.
Bro, me and Mike played that shit one night, and it was like there was no music, and when you're in the game, it's just weird. It's just you drive, and that's it.
So yeah, with Bungie's infrastructure and their knowledge on multiplayer games, that could really push Sony to fill up a niche that they really don't have on their consoles. Um, and that also brought Sony to saying, "Hey, they're in development of 10 live service games by 2026," which is a
Ooh,
lot.
imagine 10 Destiny.
That's bro. That's a
Destiny 10 is no longer your destiny.
Bro,
oh my god.
I mean,
what? So
first to all be original, probably IPs or something.
well,
Shit
this
like
this what I want to ask. Like, what do you want from a multiplayer Sony title? Do you want them to do something old in the
Racer.
past, or do you want to do something brand new? Like, what does a
Brand
multiplayer Sony game mean for you?
a multiplayer live service kart racer.
Stop. Shut
No,
the hell up.
the,
you
the,
had me. You had
Well,
me in
well,
the first half.
hear me out, hear me out. But still in their like shtick of like alien sci-fi character design and modeling. So it's not cartoony kart racing. It's more like Wipeout.
Like Wipeout.
just
Yeah,
bring
kind of
back
like
Wipeout
Wipeout.
then.
They can't
What?
call it, but don't call it Wipeout because isn't that like owned by like an indie company or some shit like that?
No, Wipeout is a Sony IP.
Oh, well then just shit, man, just make a fucking Wipeout then. Never mind.
If I'm not
Yeah, just Bungie live service Wipeout. Easy.
I'd rather
Have
see something new.
seasons, get different model cars every season, get new paints, and like if you do ranked races or leaderboard races, this amount of like the top percentage of these players get these special skins symbolizing how good they are, shit like that. I don't know.
Hmm.
Just
I would
make
like
it
to see
very
something new.
Bungie like. Call it Wipeout
well, I mean,
and do that for 10 years.
well, the thing is, it's not Bungie specifically developing these games. It's just their knowledge of multiplayer, knowledge of you know providing content and stuff like that. It's not necessarily them producing these games,
Hmm.
but they'll be working alongside any of these developers who's making these multiplayer games.
Make it. I mean, make something that has a lot of content. Like I love games that are content heavy, especially if it's multiplayer. Like a co-op game that has a lot of content to it that we can just have a lot of dumb fun with.
Yeah, Sony doesn't really have any co-op games.
They
Mm,
don't.
Yep.
like I'm back with Max because a lot of content, a lot of characters, a lot of game modes. I would love to see that other than some other franchises. Cough cough. Mm, was
That's what
previously.
Sony needs. Sony needs a fucking party game.
Yes. Like
Yes.
They
like
have PlayStation All Star.
No.
That is very
ooh. But like how Microsoft or the Xbox, whatever you however you want to refer to it, had Fusion Frenzy, like that party game.
Yeah, like Sony's
What,
Fusion Frenzy,
what
developed partnerly by Bungie.
yeah, like what will be the quote unquote Fusion Frenzy of Sony?
I don't know. Sunset Party.
Well, I think like okay, and this is kind of like going a little bit into the future too. What I wanted to talk about as well, but that reminds that what you said about that. I think it would be cool if Sony had party games based around the PlayStation VR. Like I think that would be
And
kind
people
of
got to
cool.
get the PlayStation VR.
But just imagine an experience where like now I don't know how the PlayStation VR experience works. I don't know if like it doubles what you see on the headset onto the screen, but like I imagine there could be some cool things you could do with somebody with the headset on and everybody else is looking at the screen and they're either like going against a person on the VR headset or it could
Oh well, yeah.
it could be like a situation where like oh this person is trying to control this and they can only have a limited vision and everybody else is yelling and screaming at them to go this way. Like I could see stuff like that happening. That would be pretty
Mm,
cool.
that would
See,
be
now
cool.
somebody needs to be a game developer. He's thinking outside the box.
That would be lit. Brian, have you been sitting on this for like ever?
It
No, I'm
sounds like he did that.
I'm just thinking like, hey, that would be kind of cool. Because like I feel like VR is a mostly like a single person, single player experience. But like usually when we see videos of VR where people like falling down and junk, it's always a crowd of people there. Because VR is cool. The aspect and the concept is cool. And most people are gonna see it and be like, if you're trying to sell somebody on VR, you'll be like, hey, check out this cool thing. And then a bunch of people crowd around like, oh yeah, that's cool. Let me try next. But if you could have a multiplayer experience based around that, I think that would be absolutely cool.
There's some smaller games that use VR. Like there's this game I recently see. I'm forgetting what it's called at the moment, but it's basically like a 1v1 versus where you have one person that's in VR, like trying to kill one person who's playing like not on VR. Like it's a the person on VR is basically a giant, and they're a floating head in two hands, and their goal is to kill the dude that's on the ground, and they're basically just a small person running around
A small person.
giant. It looks really cool. Let me look it up real quick. Um,
Well, while Max looks that up, that'd be cool. Like, if it were online where you have a VR pool that you can wait in, and then a non-VR pool that you wait in. Like, if you don't have a VR headset, still the game will be more accessible to people who can't afford the headset or whatever like that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
Ooh,
well, I guess what you're trying to say is like it has VR support, but it's not VR required. It's not a VR game.
yes. Because I know that what was that exclusive that I saw on the PlayStation Store that was a VR exclusive? I think it was
Was it
Walk.
lady in a leotard with a gun?
Um, mm,
stop.
Jesus, boyfriend.
I think it was something Walking Dead related. I'm not sure.
Oh, Saints and Sinners, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. Yes, it was. That was a VR exclusive. It was like, oh, I really want to play that, but I don't have a VR headset. And first of all, boy, I ain't get paid enough to get a VR headset.
There it is, the Vigo.
The Vigo.
Yeah,
It's a game called the Vigo. It's basically look it up. It's
The
the
Vigo.
one person's in VR. They're with hands versus some dude walking on the actual world shooting rockets and various other shit trying to kill each other. It looks really fun.
Hmm.
the
The Vigo.
yeah, I see. Platform Microsoft Windows.
Um, Another aspect to this is like they could take old properties and push them as a live service game. So like we know they're working on The Last of Us factions. Oh my god, I put fractions in the document. God,
Nice.
Last of Us factions. Last of Us fractions. Good God, how many Zeds can you make to equal a human person's intelligence? Let's find out.
It's time for you to go to bed. It is time for good night, everybody.
Um, and then also Insomniac Games has been hiring for a multiplayer project too. Um, so yeah, it's interesting the idea of you know you coming to a Sony console specifically for you know multiplayer stuff because like I know for us in our friend circle that whenever a new game does come out on you know PlayStation Plus and everybody has access to it, it gives us an excuse to all jump in and
Hmm.
like Knockout City. Uh,
Which we need to play more of.
we definitely do.
Deep Rock Galactic.
Which we need to play more of.
Rocket Stone.
Rockin' Stone.
um, I very much believed in Rocket Arena, even though it was a flop.
You know what, Brian? I will give you that. You definitely did believe that game didn't itself.
Like
So
I wanted Rocket Arena to be good. I really did.
That's how I felt about goddamn. What's
spell
that? Not Spellbreak. Spellbreak's actually still alive. I just haven't played it in a moment.
Lawbreakers.
Lawbreakers.
God,
Oh my
Lawbreakers was
god,
good.
Lawbreakers was so much fun. That game was so much fucking fun, but it
it was
didn't
bad
work.
because it's like after we finished, it was like, hey, I already put spell.
They should have made that bitch free to play from the jump. Maybe it would still be alive.
Right.
All right.
Well, okay. So here's my other like concern about freaking
But you
10,
can make spellbreak.
10, 10 you mean Lawbreakers?
Yeah.
Is my problem with 10 live service games. That requires a lot of time and attention. Like, you know, I was I'm very much a fan of Halo Infinite. I put like 60 hours in it so far since release. But like it takes up time to like stick with the battle pass and play your weeklies and y'all feel that same way with Apex Legends. Um, you know, keeping up with that, keeping your skills up with that. But to have 10 of them, that seems excessive. Like,
That does seem excessive, and I don't know how that's just going to be sustainable because they can't have multiples out at the same time because that's how they're going to fuck themselves over. Like
Mhm.
trying to gain revenue from one game, and the player base or the fans of your company are going to be like, "Well, I can only afford one out of the 10 live service games that you have out currently. I can only
Right.
afford to put money into one."
Not to mention that's a lot of up like once upon a time Apex was about to die because Respawn wasn't doing their due diligence to keep steady updates. Once they realized that and realized how much money they made, they got their shit together.
They did.
But it like 10 of those at the same goddamn time,
and it's like
like
Microsoft has that with Game Pass, but that's the thing. It's Game Pass. It's going to be available. You know, it's already including your subscription. And like currently, it's Elder Scrolls Online, Fallout 76, and you can argue Halo, Gears, Forza is a live service. Well, probably not Forza, but Gears and Halo is a live service games because they're constant multiplayer updates, battle passes, and all that stuff. But like, granted, all those are in completely different genres. Even that, like, as a Microsoft fan, I kind of dropped Gears 5 once Halo came out, and like I loved Gears 5. Multiplayer is very fun, but it takes time. It takes so much time to stick with that jump.
boy, I was getting my ass fucking handed to me on a silver platter when I was playing Gears 5. Like I'm not in my prime with Gears anymore. Like I was getting walked like a dog.
So let's transition to our last little topic. Um, so Sony's also uh, Jim Ryan, CEO of PlayStation, also said that, uh,
Bastard.
huh,
That bastard.
the boss,
That bastard.
boss too. Um, he's looking. He said Sony's looking for more acquisitions in the future, and the acquisitions that Sony kind of made up until this point, outside of the Bungie one, made sense. Like Insomniac Games, when they bought Insomniac Games, that was legitimate to me. Like I thought they already owned Insomniac because of Ratchet and Clank and all the other uh, games it was doing for Sony exclusive for years. I thought Sony just already owned Insomniac Games. I had no idea. Um, Actually, it was when Insomniac Games made Sunset Overdrive. Then I was like, oh, I thought this was a Sony studio. Um, but that made sense. Uh, they acquired Bluepoint. That made sense. They've been working with Bluepoint for a while. So like a lot of the acquisitions made sense. But rumors in the gaming industry apparently says that there's another big acquisition coming up, and with Sony saying, "Hey, they're not finished with doing acquisitions," the question is, who do you think they, you know, would acquire next? And I thought about some of the big Japanese publishers. Would it be Capcom, Square Enix, Bandai Namco, Sega? What are y'all thoughts on this?
Personally, if they acquire Capcom, I would just be pushing for another Marvel versus Capcom because that shit that with the Infinite,
The
mm,
way the Infinite flop, they really gonna have to
if,
go. Boy, they gonna really have to go for broke.
exactly. Like Marvel versus, like my favorite titles from Marvel versus Capcom series has to be Ultimate Marvel versus Capcom 3, Fate of Two Worlds, like those. Oh, and Marvel versus Capcom 2, like those are amazing. And then they drop Infinite. I'm like, what the hell is this? So m- maybe if they acquire Capcom, I might see another one of those games, or maybe another Devil. I'm not sure.
I feel like Sony and Square Enix just makes sense.
Yeah,
I feel that should just makes sense.
it would just. Oh, I would love that. Oh
Well,
my
my
god.
thing is that if Sony gets fucking Capcom, that's even more reason for us to get our early MVC, titles to come back. Hopefully, maybe a new Darkstalkers because they've been sitting on that too.
Right, and
Um,
they can probably
and
redo.
bring back Third Strike Online Edition. That's all. Please, just that would make so much more sense.
I feel the pain in your voice.
Like I
Um,
I think that was be a smart move for Sony, because Capcom has so much storied fighting game franchises, and let's not forget that Sony owns Evo. They acquired
but
Evo,
yeah.
so
That's facts.
it'll be make a lot of sense to be like, hey, the
And now
biggest,
Sony owns Evo.
like the biggest fighting game. No, Sony owns Evo already.
Oh
So I'm saying
shit.
it will make sense for Sony to get one of the biggest fighting game publishers and have their stuff to fuel people going to Evo. Really put money towards Evo and having a very close working relationship, literally close working relationship with Capcom, and having MVC there and Street Fighter. And I would love, like you said, Darkstalkers to come back, Rival
Mhm.
Schools to come back,
Holy shit. Power Stone to come back.
Power Stone, right?
Power Stone. Oh my god.
Shit.
I would
Imagine
love
that
Power
power
Stone
and
to
put
come
the
back,
first two
bro.
Power Stones on the fucking PS5, boy.
Right, remaster Power Stone for me, please, Sony.
And they would just have a Monster Hunter World would just probably become a live service game.
Yep. Hey, that would be
And
another get.
good lord, my brain just exploded. Imagine fucking Capcom Bungie, a Monster Hunter live service game every month for like some years. You get new monsters, weapons, and shit, new quests, new
Bruh, it
modifications on quests.
makes
That would be
sense.
that would be insane. Now, who would think a Western company and a Japanese developer company would work together so harmonious? That would be something I would love to see.
In perfect harmony.
Perfect harmony in our ASMR
No.
podcast.
The only other studio that I would see them trying to get, and it's not Bandai Namco because Bandai Namco is kind of big, and they
Yeah.
probably gonna be like, let me get some more money. I'm gonna need more than what you gave.
I mean, they got
What you
Naruto,
gave
man.
Bungie.
They have Naruto. That game is going to
Um,
be
I would
huge.
like to, of course, another one that just makes fucking sense is Square.
Hmm.
It's Square and Sony have always had this long standing history. And it's very long standing just collaboration with each other for years now. and as many Final Fantasies that were on. Well, is one of those few consoles where when Sony and Square were working together, they were known for their collaboration in Final Fantasy next to Nintendo. So you would have all that. You would have whatever spin-offs of that, and along with like all your Life is Strange's, more of those coming out left and right. So I think it between Capcom and Square would be the two that would probably be the ones that make sense.
It would. But on the other hand, if they acquired Sega, we might get another Jet Set Radio. You could get a
Oof.
remake.
Maybe they can revive some of Sega's old franchises that got lost the fucking
Yeah.
obscurity over the years.
Right. Like
Sonic was the only one to fucking survive.
No, it's Sonic and Virtual Fighter Survive 2.
barely.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they had a new game. When was the last
Say that again, you cut out.
I said, when was the last Virtua Fighter game? Was the last one that came out before the one that just came out?
A very, very, very long time.
Long
PS3
fucking time
360
ago.
era.
Yeah, it was PS3,
Right.
yeah.
You see, look, a very long fucking time ago. Y'all remember Alex Kidd?
Oh yeah, the original mascot.
Right. Y'all remember Billy Hatcher?
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
don't get me started, because I've been listening to that fucking soundtracks. I get triggered.
Right. Remember fucking there was some other shits that I don't remember. You play Sega and Sonic All Stars Racing, and you'll see.
Yeah,
And you're like,
Sega
who
has
the hell are
so
these
much.
characters?
Burning
Oh yeah,
Rangers,
Amigo,
Time of the Amigo, Burning Rangers, Nights of the Dreams,
Channel 5,
Channel
Space Channel 5.
5.
What was that monkey with that box? That Mexican monkey with the box head?
Sam did. Sam,
You know what I'm talking about, though, right?
Squiddy
That
just
Mexican
said
monkey with the bugs. Zombie de Amigo.
Sam of the Amigo, but
Yes.
your description. That
That
Mexican monkey with the
that
box head.
Yeah,
Oh
hate that damn
man.
monkey. Yeah, that
What were the maracas?
Oh my god.
Oh my god! You know he's Mexican because he has a sombrero on.
God damn.
Not other than the fact his name is Someday Amigo, but
Zombie de Amigo. Sambo, your friend.
um,
Damn.
but the other reason I think Sega would be an interesting pick is because of Persona.
Oh yeah, that make me so excited. Imagine actually now having availability to play all the other Persona games before 4.
Right.
So like, I mean, of course they would be like, yeah, they probably not gonna remake them or anything, but Persona.
Shut up.
Oh my god. Wait, so correct me if I'm wrong. Sega owns Atlas.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not just Persona. That's
Shit.
Shinigami Tensei as a whole.
Yep.
And that would make me moist.
Oh,
All that Shinigami Tensei and Persona. Oh,
ooh,
yeah, go ahead, pick up Sega too.
I will hop back into Devil Survivor. Quick, fast, in a hurry.
You better play SMT5 and keep it moving.
And that's all.
Man,
That's also.
It's basically the same. It's still in the same universe.
I know, but I don't want to spend any more money.
Well, you're gonna be spending $60 for that game. That game ain't never going to.
You know what I'm saying?
Also, Sega. Don't forget, Sega is also Yakuza.
Oh yeah, I need to like just give in.
And Shenmue.
Well, yeah, it won't be an indie
would.
game anymore.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, the new Shenmue wasn't.
Apparently, it was missing shit that was supposed to be coming out with it.
I tried Shenmue 1, the little HD remaster.
Mm.
That junk was not for me. That junk was boring. Maybe if I give it a second try, maybe. But I was just like, walking.
It's one of those games you got to play intoxicated in one form or fashion.
No, like it's the opposite. You need a lot of focus on that game, dog.
Oh shit!
Because like you need to know people's schedules. You need to know where people are at. You need to explore the town. You gotta keep up with the days of the week. Like you gotta know
And
when
you got to be
businesses
looking for
open.
sailors.
Find a sailor.
This click.
But yeah, and just to round this all off, just to put in perspective of how different Nintendo is approaching everything. The Nintendo Switch, as of this week, is now Nintendo's best-selling console of all time at 103.5 million units sold.
Hmm.
That's absolutely nutty.
And I'm one of those people.
We all are.
I think all of us.
Yeah. But also you also got to think about current events that could have influenced the Nintendo Switch with the whole Coco going around since 2019.
I mean, yeah. I was lucky enough to get one because after I was hearing all that shit about how during that time, especially at the beginning of the pandemic, that anything electronic was difficult to get. So I thought Switches were one of those things, which it was, but I just got lucky.
Well,
Meanwhile, I buy mine on spring break and when I was in college.
and like the crazy thing is that means the Wii, the Switch has sold more than the Wii. That's
Right.
already
There's not
insane.
even there's not even that much promotion for the Switch. Like it's promotion for the games, but not the system itself.
No, I mean whenever you kind of like step outside of the core gamer world, they still advertise the Switch a lot on TV and uh, uh, movie like movie showings and stuff like that. Like they show it a lot to casual audiences.
Oh. Well, then that's probably what's they're brainwashing us.
Like
Get more Switch.
I mean,
like
don't you remember the promotion when the Switch was first coming out? Like those advertisers were the Switch, and they made that fucking snapping sound.
Yeah.
It's
Oh yeah,
still stuck in my head to this day.
Right.
let's be honest. Nintendo has been making some powerful moves ever since the beginning. Because first of all, let's be honest, Nintendo has been killing the game with mobile games with the Nintendo DS and just all of that. They were killing the game. Even though they had a competitor with a PlayStation Portable, Nintendo DS is still sold out. Then with the 2DS and the DSi, I should say, then the 3DS and all that stuff, and now they're just popping out the gate with that Wii. We introduced motion control into gaming, that blew up, and now we have a combination of mobile gaming with motion with the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo, they know what they're doing.
Hey, it's just a shame they don't know what they're doing when it comes to fucking multiplayer.
We're not gonna talk
They
about.
Nintendo. I love great ideas when it comes to consoles. Terrible implementation when it comes to the user experience. Why
Exactly.
the fuck am I still doing friend codes? Why the
I-
fuck? Why
yeah,
the fuck didn't the first model of the Switch didn't have a lamp? Why the fuck did the new model of the Switch not come with any graphical upgrades whatsoever? You got a slightly
congratulations.
bigger screen, a stand in the fucking LAN port we were supposed to have how many years ago?
Oh yeah, my screen is brighter too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they dropped the ball with that one, but that's like a whole topic for a whole nother day. But kudos to them. They staying in their lane. They know their lane. And but the one thing that gets on my nerves when the Nintendo Switch first came out, I'm not sure if they still do this. Why do I have to download an app on my phone to communicate with people?
Oh my god, let's not even talk about. Let's talk. Could have been cough PlayStation.
I don't
The
even know.
PlayStation app. That's how you make an app. I can do share. I can
no,
watch
no,
the share screen.
no. I am not gonna let you sit here and praise the PlayStation app. That junk is
I'm,
garbage.
I'm, bro, it's better than the Nintendo Switch app, and you can't.
That's a low bar to set. It's a low bar to set. Come on now.
What other examples do we have to compare to? Xbox don't got a goddamn app. At least
That's-
I don't think. Do they have an app?
They do.
That's like you saying I can jump 6 inches. Like it's not that hard. Like One's
No.
rock bottom, and the other one's just a little bit higher.
One's very
I use the PlayStation app, and sometimes when I don't feel like getting up and turning my PlayStation on, I still want to talk to my friends in the PlayStation party.
I get
just go on the PlayStation
I
app.
I
And I
like
can
that.
watch the share screen. I can keep track of my trophies, which I don't give a fuck about. But
Like I get that. I get that. But also that same app will just crash on you in the middle of the thing, won't allow you to take phone calls or watch a video. And then that same app, I don't know if you ever
I don't
experienced
like that
this.
either.
I
I
don't
don't like that either.
but I don't know if you experienced this, but if
Can't you
I
link your
have blue
PlayStation to Discord now?
yeah, now that they just started bringing that out. But also like with the PlayStation app, sometimes that junk bugs my audio and I have to completely restart my phone.
I don't know. That's your jank phone.
My phone is not jank. It's a Samsung S what is it? Note 20. So it was expensive. Nothing else no other app is weird with my phone other than the PlayStation app. It's just
I'm
not
not-
well designed.
Well, the app. I agree with Max. I like the app and all this stuff, but that whole phone call thing, Brian, you bugging with that one. Why would you want to be on the phone call and still use the app and all that stuff, and it kicks you out of the party?
You can do
Like,
that on
what?
Discord though. You're on mobile and Discord. The phone call comes up. It doesn't abruptly take you out of the party. You're still on there, and especially if it's like a small, phone call or something like that, I can just like, okay, yeah, cool, and get right back into the thing. Because when you do it on Discord, it mutes you on Discord. So you,
Yes.
so you can still have the phone call while still being on Discord on mobile without getting fully out. But PlayStation, it yanks you out.
It's not that big of a deal, in my opinion.
It is when it takes
So-
forever to get back into the party.
That's your phone.
No, it's the app. The app's garbage.
Press the button and then you're just waiting to get in, like you're in a supermarket line.
Like no, like legit.
You can use the YouTube fucking loophole. I call it the YouTube hack, the YouTube loophole. You play a YouTube video and suddenly it fucking works.
Oh wait,
I don't know if that's only my phone.
you got a bug.
Does that work on your phone, Brian?
I don't know because like I haven't tried it like that. Like I know YouTube is fine. YouTube works fine on the PlayStation app. It's just Facebook don't. So I never tried doing YouTube to Facebook. I never tried that. Regardless, it shouldn't be like that. Anyway, let's wrap up. We're sitting here.
Yeah.
What was that?
Oh, do we get
Don't worry
outro
about it,
music?
don't worry about
Right.
it.
I need to get up and dance.
Oh my god.
But so yeah, let's call it a time and a half. This has been the Sound Test Podcast. What are we on? Episode 14.
11.
That's ill. No. So we'll catch y'all on the next one.
See you tomorrow.
See you later.
Johnny.
Be like your hero.